Okay, Facebook, we are live Monday morning. We'll do a quick market review. I've got a live room session at 9, so we've got a few minutes to get, we'll go through and get a little bit of a look at what's been going on with these indices. So I'm going to go back up and start on the weekly chart. And those of you that have been following these reviews, I've been talking heavily about both with the Dow, the S&P as I click through here, and the NASDAQ, this area where prices come down. As you can see, we've had a break of a recent trend line, but what are we going to do around this weekly 21 moving average? You can see, look, prices come in and we go back to mid-September. We had a test, we came up, almost had a close below, hovering around, and you can see here on the S&P, as yet no close below that 21. So prices now very clearly in consolidation. You can see that there. So we're back up at the recent highs of that consolidation. Just to compare the Dow, although the Dow did have a close below the 21, and this is why I've said on numerous occasions that simply a close below the 21 would not be enough for me to suddenly be overly bearish or to place short orders. It was simply a measuring mechanism to see whether or not that would create further downside. And as you can see here, look, although we've had that close, very similar price action just below that 21. The 21's now flat. Did go a little bit higher last week on the Dow. So the Dow is slightly leading the S&P. And then if we just bring in the NASDAQ, you can see NASDAQ slightly different pattern that you're seeing here. If I just get rid of some of these lines, you can see price still, though, in terms of it not forming quite such a clear consolidation here. Still, as yet, the NASDAQ hasn't had that close below the 21. So out of the three, we haven't seen that close on the NASDAQ or the S&P. It's only the Dow. So we're getting a little bit of this consolidation. So essentially, what is next? Well, for me, if we go back to the S&P, if we break out of this sideways move, now I'm just going to go down to the daily so you can see that a little bit more. You can see there's that sideways move. So we've come back up and retested those highs from late September. So we had the break of the upward trend, that new lower low, and we came in and put in that lower high just there. I'll just get a little pen so you can see it. So we've got that little area there. We've come in, we've created that lower high, created that lower low. Now, we did go slightly lower, but as I said, we hadn't got that close on the S&P below the 21. So we're back up here. So it could be now that we're creating a little bit of a consolidation. And then if price comes down, it will be about what happens when we get a retest in and around this area here. If we go higher from where we are here, then I would be looking for a retest of the all-time highs. So it's fairly simple. What we're looking at is a potential consolidation. So I can use this area, this high, as a measuring point to see whether or not we're going to get up and retest the highs, or if we come back down for that medium-term picture, are we going to get out of this consolidation here? And if I just look at the daily chart of the Dow, it's slightly similar. So the Dow slightly hedged. You can see Friday we had that little push above the lower high that we had there. So a little bit closer to its all-time highs. And then if we look at the NASDAQ, it's not quite the same in terms of its consolidation. That's just hovering around its daily 50. So main indices stuck a little bit here, not really seeing any clear direction, sitting in a little bit of no man's land, and that's fine. We'll just see what happens as we go on. So oil, we'll go to oil as we always do. Nice break outside of the previous resistance, so you can see that there. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go, well, okay, we've had that break. We've got a nice clear new high up there. Let's go up to the monthly chart and see where that sits now. So basically all I'm doing is just pulling in more data so I can see, look, up here, we've got this whole area up here. So plenty of clean air on oil, and it'll be interesting to see if we get a monthly close above those prior highs. If we go back to the weekly chart, you can see we've had two solid weekly closes, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a retracement here, be it here on the weekly chart, or if I go back to the daily, a retracement back here. We, as swing traders, are looking for a retracement. We've got these prior highs. If price was to come back, this would give us buying opportunities in and around this area here, depending on certain criteria being met. But a pullback from where we are here would give us buying opportunities in and around this area. So that's oil. So plenty of clean air. So if I go back up to the weekly chart, you can see it there. Plenty of clean air until we get into this cluster of highs that you can see all the way up here. So oil's got plenty of room for further upside, be it momentum pullbacks or momentum breakouts for our swing traders. Now, Euro, interesting one here. So Euro still hovering around that weekly 200. You've got some prior highs. You haven't really got a strong area of support here. Slightly lower there, but as yet not had that weekly close below the 200. And again, that isn't a reason or a mechanism for me to take a short trade there, but it's certainly something I'm watching for. Now, if we just go to the daily, interestingly here, Euro, we were getting a little bit of a consolidation below the lows that you can see back here. So we had the lows just there. We've got a little bit of a consolidation here. So we have got a momentum breakout potential down at these lows. So a retest of these lows would see a short on Euro and looking for further downside following a specific momentum breakout strategy that we have. The pullback, for me, the pullback wasn't significant enough just there. We would have to go again and then look for the pullback on there. So again, if Euro does want to head further down, that would be the plan there. So at the moment, again, Euro just hovering around that level. If we go back up to weekly, not really making its mind up, but we could end up with an early entry on our momentum breakout just there. If we go and have a look at the pound, so look at the pound, still very sideways here. Prior highs that I had on there, we came down and retested. So again, the pound sitting in no man's land. We came nicely off this double top here. There were the previous highs. Came down, and the pound again just sitting in around these resistance highs, prior resistance highs, bounced off there, and again, interestingly, it's just sitting in that little gap where we got the weekly 50 and the weekly 21. So if we were to take these highs out, this little area, it's not completely clean, but you've got a little area of resistance up there, slightly shorter term resistance. If we took that out, a little bit like the indices, I'd be looking for a retest back up at these highs and possibly the highs from back in 2017, 2018. That's what these highs show us. But if we take these lows out, then I'll be looking for momentum trades down into these lows. We've got to be a little bit wary of the choppy mid zone that we have there. If we can certainly get below that little choppy area, then we would have momentum trades there. So again, pound a little bit stuck at the moment. So could be an interesting week if we can get some of these lows broken on the pound and euro relative to what the dollar does. But at the moment, one of the ones we're looking at here is US dollar yen. So you can see it's had a nice break here. And if I just go up to, or I just pull in a little bit more data on that weekly chart, you can see we're hovering around the resistance area. So it's made up of some 2017 resistance highs, not the absolute highs for the year, but you've got that resistance zone that you can see just back here. And then come in, we've got the retest there in 2018. So it's the first hit of that level, or potentially, I should say, we're not quite there yet, potentially first hit of that level, that little zone that we've got in the best part of 3 years. So we would be looking for potential reversal trades if we get up here. So we've got to see price get into that zone. And if we do, then we will be looking for specific reversal criteria up there. And if they're met, we would be short off of those highs. Then if price was to travel a little bit further, then we would have potential trendline break setups as well. So yeah, I would say in terms of the markets, in terms of trading opportunities, we've got potential euro shorts if we can get that consolidation pattern down at the lows, and then we've got potential against the trend setups here on US dollar yen. But again, we will have to see how the price action works. And as I said, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on those indices. So that's all I've got for you today. Hope that was useful. I'll be back in touch again midweek. There was a video that went up yesterday, which I had been promising on discipline. So go check that out. If you are listening to this and you are not a member of Trader Support Club, just head to tradersupportclub.com, click on any of the Start Right Now buttons, and you'll get access to free material. You can register for our next set of free webinars and get discounts and offers on all of our trainings. So I shall be back in touch later in the week. Trade safe, and I'll catch up with you soon.